to each and every one of you who made it through the last video and watched the whole thing. I want to apologize greatly for the horrific stuff that happened with my audio, and thank you so much for your dedication and whatnot. For those of you who couldn't listen to it all, I apologize even more fully because that was just ludicrous. I couldn't hear anything happening in Minecraft. Like I had my sounds turned down so freaking much that it just wasn't really a thing. That should have been happening. So I'm I still have sounds running, so you guys should still be able to hear. If I like dig up a piece of dirt, good thing I got that. You should still be able to hear that yourselves. But I have totally turned off sounds for myself, so my headphones aren't outputting anything at all, or at least they shouldn't be. I don't really know. I thought that I might have heard something when I dug that. Let's see here. Nope, it was just my imagination. Okay, that's good news. Um, but as a backup thing, I have a sound recording program going on my phone right now, and I have literally no idea what type of quality it's going to be. I don't know how much room it's going to have on it, uh, but hopefully I won't even need that, and this will work out fine with my computer doing the sounds and everything like that. So. Who knows? Who really knows? Is there really any way of knowing? I don't know. I'm gonna say probably not. Not right now, at least. But we'll find out eventually together. So hopefully this is a fix that'll work for now. But yeah, I'm back, giving you guys another episode of this talkie stuff here. And I was actually surprised. The video's only been up a couple of days, and I don't generally have like a ton of subscriber interaction, which is totally fine, right? I don't have a lot of subscribers. I have like 100 of them. I make the joke that 3 of them are me, um, which may or may not be semi-true. I don't know. I don't really care about subscriber count and numbers and things like that. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, it's interesting and whatnot, and it definitely, it tells me things about my channel, but it's not something that's like, I'm not sitting there going, oh man, I don't have, 1,000 subscribers, therefore my channel is worthless. Nah, I don't care about that. And I've talked about this, of course, in SMPDX, but I just feel like reiterating it here, as I'm going to do with anything that I may or may not have spoken about in SMPDX. There's that danger of this being a different series where I may say things twice. I may say things only once in one series and never again in another one, which may or may not be unfortunate. But in any case, that's not the purpose of today's episode. I actually didn't really think up a topic per se to talk about. Last time, of course, I gave a brief overview, and I'll give a even briefer overview of what happened real quickly here for those of you who couldn't listen to that last episode because of the horrific sound glitches that I have apparently very little to no control over. We'll find out today if I have any control over them. I hope the answer is yes, and we shall see. But basically, what happened was over the last year, a lot of things have gone terribly wrong. I moved out from my hometown. I think I got to that part, and had problems with work, not training me well, and bed bugs causing issues. And the sound started going bad right around, I think, when I was talking about the dryer catching on fire and burning up somewhere between $700 worth and $1,100 worth of laundry, clothing and bedding and whatnot. By my rough estimate, if I was to replace it all at full value or full cost, not buying anything on sale or whatever. But okay, so there was that. That was in what, August, September time frame. Then in November, I got into a car accident, totaled my car. Was without a car for about a month. Got a new car in December. Then January came along. My phone did some stupid things, and I had to get a new one. And then I got fired for the stupidest of reasons possible. And was without a job for about a month. Actually, a little more than a month and a week or two. I don't know for sure. It was a lot longer than I wanted to be without a job, to be sure. And so there was. I've been through some disheartening things. I feel like something has happened since then that I maybe had spoken about, but I can't remember for sure. So, if I do think of anything else, I may blurt it out later on in this particular episode here. But let's see here. So, yeah, last time I gave that overview of kind of, what's going on with things, and I don't remember for sure if I mentioned it or not, but I did. I do have a new job. I got a job at a local grocery store. I think I did mention that. Actually, I went back and I listened to the whole episode just to make sure that it was indeed like listenable to it all. Once again, I understand if people couldn't listen to it for some reason or another, but like I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that I should just not have on the internet because it was so bad. Uh, and it's just so rough. Having whatever issues it is that I'm having, and I don't understand. I don't know if anybody really understands them. Um, as I've said before, this is an issue that nobody else that I've ever come across has ever had any problems like this before on the internet. So, uh, the whole idea of trying to find solutions for it is just very, very difficult and not particularly encouraging. Um, so if anybody has any thoughts about it, let me know. And of course, I will see if this whole thing of trying to just turn off my sound, which is really disconcerting, and I'm going to get creepered horrifically at some point during this episode. I can just about guarantee that. Um, the other thing that I noticed that happened was that the sound had a terrible, terrible desync, which I don't know why that happens. I don't know how that happens. There's no way that that should be happening because the file, or the audio rather, and the video are being recorded at the same time in the same way. So I may have to run this into something. There's a couple of tricks that I can try with that for next time, for the next video that is. And we'll see if that solves that problem or not. But that's something I should be able to like. I have so okay. Today, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about my processes that I go through to start off with here. Um, some of how I do the whole YouTube thing and whatnot. Because it is just a hobby, right? So I sit down and I don't have a plan. I don't have oh, I'm going to work on this project and it's going to be these are going to be the kind of cuts that I do, or these are the scenes that I'm going to do. No, I have no idea what's going to happen when I sit down. I'm just like I want to record today. I feel like I'm going to sit down and I want to do some recording. I want to hang out with the peeps. Like I get that way. It's like I want to go out and just spend time with my friends. That's how I feel towards recording. Is that same sort of desire, which maybe is a little bit weird, but uh, I guess in part I don't have a lot of human contact here, with just friends or whatever, right? I mean, there's my girlfriend and her family, and then I have a set of grandparents out here. But other than that, I don't really have. And okay, I guess I do talk to people at work as well, as I work at a grocery store in customer service position, cashier kind of thing, service desk and whatever. Uh, so I do have interactions with people, but I don't not like just as friends. It's either as family or as significant other, which is kind of like as friends, but there's another whole level to uh, that whole side of things. So um, uh, maybe in some way it is that I'm craving that kind of friend contact. I don't really know for sure. Uh, but I feel like I was like this with recording even before, like when I lived in my hometown, where I did have people who were just simply friends. They weren't significant others or whatever, or family members who were also who I'm friends with, because it's good to be friends with your family. You're not always, and that's something that I'm very very blessed and very lucky to have in my life, is family members who I am very good friends with. Um, some of whom I was not always good friends with. So that's even better when that sort of stuff happens. But anyway, I kind of just get that feeling of I want to sit down, I want to record something, and who cares really whether or not it's not like I'm feeling inspired. It's not like I have a big project that I'm working on, or a really cool idea of something that I want to pull off. I have a lot of projects that I'm working on pretty much all the time. I have a lot of cool ideas that I want to pull off. Thinking, cinematically, yeah, cinematically, um, or some sort of cool time lapse, or like, oh, this would be a fun little, like those little type of funny things that I try to do every episode at the beginning, or sometime in the middle or near the end or whatever. Like that villager intro in SMPDX. I did a great intro where I was making a, for those of you, who, of course, who haven't seen it, I was making a villager farm, and to do that, of course, you need to collect villagers. And so I did this whole fun thing where I had a villager giving a news broadcast about how villagers from a local village were being kidnapped, and I took myself and put like a mask on my character of, I think it was Mumbo Jumbo. Just I was supposed to be a well-known YouTuber um, who does Minecraft, and I just I put their face over my face like it was a mask type of thing, which I thought was really funny, and just snuck around the village stealing villagers basically throughout the whole thing, and uh, like it was so much fun, and in the end that guy ends up finding out that he's been captured as well, and like it was kind of inspired by, for those of you who have heard of them, Element Animation. If you have not heard of them, seriously go check them out on YouTube. They're freaking spectacular. Egg's Guide to Minecraft in particular, and they have a number of other good Minecraft shorts and whatnot. But Villager News is one of the greatest creations known to mankind, I think. Absolutely the height of video entertainment. Um, and so if you kind of go watch that, if you're not interested in checking out my SMPDX series, which is, of course, totally fine, go check out that, and that'll give you kind of an idea of the fun that I was having with this. But this was, I did it in Minecraft. I wasn't doing any fun animation or whatever. I'm not skilled in that particular uh, side of, things for video production. Although it does interest me, but I don't have the attention span to sit down and learn it at this point in my life. I probably could, honestly, but there's a lot of me that's like, well, that would be expensive, as far as money goes, to get the equipment needed to do it. I would seriously probably just need a new computer. I think some of the problems that my computer is having is that it's just dying, um, of being old and used, like not super old, but like old enough and possibly abused in different ways. Uh, just the system's not being used in their optimal way, and therefore it's not running as smoothly as it should. And maybe perhaps I did something when I was cleaning it one time and screwed up, uh, the graphics card, or broke a pin somewhere or bent something that just it's now not running well because of that. That could very well be the case, which would suck. But I seriously think that if I was to just get a whole new computer, um, that is awesome. Yes. Uh, but if I was just to get a whole new computer, I think that would solve a lot of my issues. But that's super expensive. But if I was going to try to get into proper video editing, or rather proper animation, I guess, type stuff, then I would totally want a better computer that's got newer bits in it and is just happier with itself and is running more smoothly. Because doing that on a computer that has whatever weird issues that mine is having going on with it, I don't like that Guardian head there anymore. It's got to move. It's just not a particularly appealing thing to be doing, I feel. So I'm not. Oh, you know what we should do? We're gonna put this so that it's actually facing the other direction. That way, when you're lying in bed, you're just staring into the single eye of the Guardian. We're gonna have to try that later on. Okay. Sorry, a little bit of the whole. I am actually playing Minecraft. I'm not just talking and then putting this sort of stuff in the background. There's literally stuff going on while I'm doing it. And yeah, but uh, back to my talking about my processes. I don't know. I don't even know why I started talking about it, but yeah, no, I start recording, and yeah, I don't come in with a plan most of the time about what I'm going to talk about or what project I'm going to work on. Um, and that has both, of course, good things about it. It gives me a lot of flexibility. I can just be like, I'm going to work on this right now, and then I can go work on that, that thing for as long as I feel like doing it. And then halfway through the episode, I can be like, well, I don't know. I feel like I'm done with that, and meh, we're gonna go work on this other thing instead. Um, and that's um, very, very freeing in that I'm not tied down to the one project. But then, of course, I go for ages without finishing a project. Like I've got my boat project on SMPDX, which isn't finished. I've been working on a slime farm actually with data, and I haven't done any real videos on it. I've kind of shown it a little bit in there, but it's one of those things where I jump around projects, and things just don't get done as quickly because of it, which makes sense and is totally fine, of course. Um, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with a person if they can't, just stick to one project and just get that one project done. I mean, maybe there is. Who knows? I am certainly not an expert in that sort of topic, but the point being that, um, yeah, I get on and I do that, and I and then I hit record. But before I do that, of course, there's a problem that I have with this whole thing, right? And that's that I have to stress about, okay, is my audio going to freak out today? What new step can I try to figure it out? Have I really exhausted all the options that I can think of, for like searching on the web to try to find out what the heck my computer's doing, why it's having these problems? Is there something that I'm missing, perhaps? Maybe there's, maybe I have missed a setting and therefore it's going to screw up again this time. And there have been times when I've had to scrap whole bits of footage. And there have been times when OBS has just decided, we're not gonna do that whole reliability thing today, and we're just gonna say screw you and do our own thing in the reliability department. By which I mean we're not gonna be reliable. That department is in fact closed for the day, no matter what time you started at. And it's a very stressful thing for me to record. Once again, I love it. I absolutely love recording. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it, or at least like it to a fairly decent level. What the heck did I just? Oh, okay. There's a plastic thing underneath my exercise ball that I'm sitting on. Very much confusion. Very much confusion. What the heck, Loon? Pardon me whilst I pour myself some milk to drink in my cereal bowl. But whoops. But anyway, so I do that, and then like I get very distracted in my videos, and it's a whole thing where I can't wait to hear what that sounds like, drinking milk out of a bowl in post-production stuff. But I get to the point where it's just like what I really should do, right, is I should go in and I should do a quick clip. I should plan it out a little bit ahead of time, right? Just like even moments ahead of time, right? Seconds ahead. I should be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say and talk about, and then do it. And because my videos do get a bit too long for what I want them to be in SMPDX, I just want them to be easily watchable, and I want them to be fun. And I feel like a longer video, almost in its nature, tends to be a little bit more serious, because it's a serious thing where you're sitting down and you're like, okay, I'm going to make the decision to watch this thing, right? That's what these videos are, right? You have to make a commitment to it. I don't want SMPDX to have that same commitment thing. Or my vlogs, right? Or unboxings more so. I guess I don't do vlogs particularly often, really, in the grand scheme of things, if you want to consider a proper vlog. But I want them to just be easily consumable, really quick, and I want the editing to be fun. I want the content to be fun. I want everything about it to be fun, and so I'm constantly worrying about that. But I do enjoy like the intellectual side of conversations, and I do enjoy the more serious side of conversations. And so, if things get serious, I'm not afraid of it. I don't just go, oh well, this is getting too deep. We should talk about something else now, or we should cut that out and go do something else. No, I want that in my video because I enjoy that side of things in my life, and I'm going to force it upon. No, I'm not going to force it upon you, but you're here watching my videos too, so therefore you don't have much of a choice in what I put in them. I guess. I mean, if there's something specific that you want me to do, please let me know, and I will gladly at least look into it and consider whether or not it's something that I think would interest me enough to do it. Because part of why I enjoy doing this is, giving people something to enjoy, as well as doing something that I enjoy, or rather doing something that I enjoy in such a way that brings other people enjoyment. Without both aspects of that, my enjoyment of this is basically gone, right? If I didn't enjoy it, I would stop doing it. If you guys didn't enjoy it, I don't think I would enjoy it nearly as much. And I say you guys lightly. There's, like I said, I think 7 people watched my video since I uploaded it, like a day ago or whatever, which is a bit nuts to me, but it's fine. It's whatever. But so yeah, there's a whole a whole thing here, right? Where there's so many people out there who are like, oh, YouTube is my career now, right? You have Tango, who does YouTube and streaming, and you have Azuma and Mumbo and I don't really know who else. Maybe Zedaf. I don't know if Zedaf has like an actual job or not. I don't know. I think False is full time this stuff, and XP Crafted does this stuff. There's a guy called NerdCube who does all this stuff, and it's just yeah, no, it's good. Like that there are people in the entertainment industry who aren't Hollywood level, right? Professionals at it, who are basically amateurs sitting in their bedroom or sitting in their little homemade studio doing this stuff. I love that, but like I was saying with the whole, I don't really go into my videos with a plan, because in a way, that ties me down and puts me in a spot where, oh well, this is what I have to do now, and it just makes it less fun. And in so many ways, YouTube is my hobby, right? Video making, video editing, video production, it's my hobby. Making it fun, right? Kind of by default, right? If you do a hobby, it's because you at least find it to be somewhat enjoyable in some aspect of it or another, generally speaking. Um, and it's not like there's other things I couldn't, it's not like there aren't other things that I could be doing with my time, right? I could be learning another language. I could be learning to animate. I could be learning how to, be an electrician or a plumber or a there's a third one, but I can't remember what it is. But, do something that would really put me forward in life and give me a job that I could use to support myself and a family later on. And but instead, I do this because it's something that just that there's that creative side of me which really needs this thing, this or something like it to do. Right? I sometimes I do photo editing stuff, or graphics design to a degree that I dabble in, and that whole activating that creative side of my brain to get the problem solving, excuse me, the problem solving side of things going, and to see what things I can do without, or, within certain restrictions that I don't have control over and that aren't necessarily set. Various different photo editing projects or graphics designy type projects are going to have completely different restriction sets based on the thing that you want to do and the thing that you want to create. It's not going to be all the same all the time. Same thing with videos, right? I can, one day say, okay, today I'm going to hop on and I'm going to record a Titan Talks, and we're going to talk about, some sort of serious subject. And then I'm going to, throw it into my video editing program and, edit it or render it, basically, is really like that's all that I have to do. Or, oh, today I'm going to get on SPDX and together with, not together with anybody, but, and then I'm going to work on a project. And I don't know what that project's going to be, and I don't really know what sorts of problems I'm going to run into trying to get that project going, or get the recording to be a thing that happens. And there's so much variable or variance. I suppose there's a lot of variables or so much variance, maybe, insert proper grammar here, to the possibilities within those sorts of creative endeavors, right? I've tried writing. There's a book that I mentioned that I have going um, as a project in the last episode. I mentioned it vaguely, at least, and I'll talk about that maybe more later in this episode or maybe in the next episode. I don't know for sure. I want to talk about some of my projects a little bit more in depth at some point. But right now, the point basically being that these creative endeavors that I do them because of the variance. I do them because they activate a certain part of my brain that I want to be a strong part of my personality, a strong part of my brain. And the brain being like any other muscle, you have to exercise it. And I definitely believe that the more often I'm creative, the more often I tinker with stuff, and the more often I do the video editing and video recording, photo editing, that sort of stuff, the smarter or the more I exercise that muscle, really. Um, and that's very important to me to be able to do those things and to have that type of ability to just go in and be like, okay, there's not really a plan, and I'm going to run with that. And that's what's going to be my strength in this whole situation, is the fact that I just have to figure it out. Because there are so many things. Yep, that's pretty great right there. I love the guardian head. Okay, there are so many instances and so many times in life when that's just going to be how things work, where you're like, well, I guess life has thrown me a bit of a short stick here. A short stick? A short straw? I don't know. Yeah, life has thrown me a short straw that's pretty dim or something. And due to that, I don't have all the tools that would make this particular thing to be an easy thing. And so um I have to figure this out. And I like figuring things out a lot. Um so that's where I love the video editing and the photo editing and whatnot, the whole visual types of stuff. Um, like I said, there's a lot of difference, a lot of variation in those types of projects. They don't get in other projects. Like I said, I'm trying to write some stuff, and it's difficult because it's really samey, and like I said with the whole video recording thing and whatnot, I don't go into projects with a plan. I very much just uh, Oh, hi. What the heck? An invisible spider? I don't think I've ever seen one of them before. I may never see one again. Oh well. Sorry, much distraction. Um, but the uh, oh right, yeah. Writing. I go into projects without a plan, and really, when you're writing, you need some sort of a plan. So I've written, one part of three of this story, which is, depending on your reading method or reading program of choice or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's not like super short, but it's not super long. It's like 20 some odd pages, maybe 30 some odd pages. I don't remember for sure, depending on, like, in Google Drive or whatever, for instance, with my preferred font settings and font and size and everything like that. And I went through that whole thing without a plan. There were times when I would be sitting there, either on the bus or on my break at work or even at home writing. And I wouldn't really know what was going to come next in the story as I'm writing, or what was going to be the next chapter. And there were times when I'd have to go back and read the previous couple of chapters because I couldn't remember what the heck I'd written, because it had been just long enough that whatever I wrote before, whatever, I just didn't know, and I didn't have some sort of a thing written out that I could refer back to, which once again has its strengths and weaknesses. But writing does definitely get very samey when it comes to the kind of creative side of things. Yeah, the way that I write is probably, yeah, I probably do it because of the whole wanting that creative, trying to figure it out sort of thing, and not having a plan almost being better than having a plan. I mean, obviously, like with Lego sets, I want to plan. I want to build the Lego set, but I do also like to have just loose Lego that I can mess around with and build things. I kind of do that in Minecraft, right? I didn't build this jet. My friend Bearfork did, but like, I built here. We'll go take a look at something here quick. I just took, and we had a double zombie spawner, and there's another invisible spider, Doom, which is still alive. Okay, now it's probably not. There are a lot of these guys here, and I'm going to regret every moment of this. But I just threw this thing together, and I've just realized that this isn't going to be a great example because you can't see into it. Um, okay, we're gonna just dig in here quick. But I threw this together, and I've built these things before, yeah. But like, I didn't do this. That hasn't broken anything. Okay, I didn't do this with a plan, right? I didn't follow instructions or whatever to do this. I built it, and it's really simple, and it didn't take me super long. But still, it's a thing, and creative, type of building. It's part of why I love Minecraft. Hi, that's part of why I love Minecraft so much, just because there's such an aspect of figure it out, and the whole redstone thing, right, where you want to do certain things, but it's difficult because of the restrictions of redstone, which are actually, as much as they're less limited than they used to be, there's redstone is still a pretty limited thing as far as what you can do with it, if we're perfectly honest with ourselves, which I do try to be, but I'm human. I'm terrible at being perfectly honest with myself, so at least I can be honest about that. But the point being more that um, I don't want to do things that are just set, right? Uh, part of why wasn't happy with my previous job was that it was so set in what we were going to be doing. Um, there wasn't so much variance. And with cashiering, with being in customer service at a grocery store, there's honestly a ton of variance and variation in what you're doing throughout the day, right? At one point, I might be, checking out groceries and whatever. At another point, I might be at the service desk helping somebody send uh, money or something. At another point, I could potentially be going off and helping grocery because they're short on people or whatever might be the case. And um, you know, uh, and in theory, the more I know how to do, the more variance there's likely to be in the stuff that I do. So, um, in many ways, it goes more and more towards being more interesting. Just kind of the more stuff you can do, and the more stuff you just sit there and figure out. I was working at the service desk tonight, and I started working on trying to improve their cable management because I want the place, of course, to look professional as a place that I work in, just as a business. I appreciate it if the businesses that I shop at and work at look professional. I'm going to assume this is a thing, but there's a lot of huh. Okay, maybe this is broken. Hang on a moment. We have to. Okay, okay, okay. Uh-huh. Gardening farm, chanting area. Please make no changes to this area. Please do not leave random stuff on the floor. Trash is located to the left. Uh-huh. Sorry, I've been distracted. Um, I really don't know what's going on right now. Is this meant to be the portal and that was just an old one? Because like literally this place looks spectacular. We just have to take a moment, I think, to appreciate the glory of this build here. Like once again, as I've mentioned before on Titancraft, there's not doing anything small. It's just not a thing that's done. Uh, like this is somebody's base here probably, and it is sitting just inside of this massive area. Which, oh, nice. I like the TT there. Very cool. I don't think I noticed that ever from the inside. There's a chicken farm up here, and there's just it's a cool place, man. I don't know what the heck, like, crikey O'Reilly, um, but in any case, that's all comes down to a little bit why I don't want YouTube to be my job is very much because of the whole fact that I don't want it to be samey. I don't want it to be predictable. I don't want it to be a steady thing that I do in a steady fashion or a steady way. In really any way of viewing it, right? Like I would love to have more of a schedule, and I would love to be producing content in a way that I could be like, okay, I'm going to put out a video every week or once every 2 weeks, right? Put out an SPDX video in that amount of time. Do a couple of unboxings or vlogs or whatever in between it, and do some other things maybe. Who knows? There's possibilities. And but I'd love to be able to do that, but that requires a lot of effort and a lot of time to be spent on it and a lot of planning to go into it, and that whole planning aspect of it takes some of the fun out for me, at least in the current way that I would plan it. Obviously there's definitely ways that I could improve my planning process. Maybe for instance start by putting it in paper or like in a spreadsheet or something. If I was to maybe say, oh, I'm gonna take an Excel spreadsheet. I'm gonna write down what I want to what my ideas are, and I'm just gonna set it so that I can choose what my plans are, and kind of keep track of what I'm doing and where I am in projects and things. Then maybe the planning process would be more interesting if I did something like that. I don't really know. Who knows? But like and I'd love to do more streaming on a regular basis. I'd love to stream at least once a month. I'd love to stream at least once a week. But there's a certain amount of huge enjoyment of flexibility in my life, and until I get, a system or a computer that's a portable computer from which I can stream reliably enough to just be like, I'm going to be out of town visiting my family this week, but I still have to stream because that's what I do. Well, uh, you know, there's just less appeal to having a schedule because then I have to miss it, and then I'd have to either make it up later or just skip it entirely. And there's gonna be times when if I say okay, every other Thursday I'm gonna stream. Well, there's gonna be times where those are the Thursdays that I'm busy, just by virtue of the job the type of job scheduling that I have, where it's not set, it's more random, or by whatever things happening in life. Oh, instead today I just want to hang out with my girlfriend, or I've got a friend who's going to be visiting, and it could be that I say that, oh yeah, every Thursday or every other Thursday I'm gonna stream, and then suddenly every single Thursday is like my busiest day. I could totally see that happening in my life. Things like that have happened before in my life, where I've been like, okay, I'm going to set aside this day for this particular purpose, and then that particular day becomes flooded with other things. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, the universe is out to get me, but maybe the universe is out to get me. No, not really. It's just a thing that happens sometimes, right? You just don't plan according to things that you weren't aware were going to happen, and that's okay because you're only human, and I'm only human, and it's not something that's easy to plan for. When it comes to the whole predicting the future type of deal and trying to be all-knowing. There's not many people who are very good at that, and I would argue most of the people who are good at that aren't actually people and are probably at least semi-sentient aliens who we have not yet made contact with. Pardon me, will say sip some more milk from my bowl in an obnoxious fashion. Ah, okay. That sipping turned quickly to just all-out gulping, and I must say I'm made very curious by this particular uh, store of raw salmon down here. I don't know if it's deliberate or if it's just somebody trying to be all sneaky with the raw salmon, but if it is that, then I applaud them, at least to some degree, in an amused fashion, if maybe not an approving fashion quite so much. Is there a spot where I can just dump off this fish? Probably. Okay. So I don't really need that fish, but I would like to take back some salmon with me. Getting back to topic though, a little bit better. Okay. The process that I go through just doesn't lend itself well to the idea of doing this as an employment thing. Now, we'll talk more at some point about what I would like to do for a job, and how I would like to, maybe do self-employment stuff, because that would be, of course, my preference would be to be self-employed. I think a lot of people have that kind of preference. And a lot of people don't know what they would do as a self-employed person. They just know that they would rather work for themselves and have that flexibility and not have to work for somebody else, not have to give their time to a company who then, for every dollar that you make, they make $10 off of you, or whatever may or may not be the case, depending on the company and how they're organized and whatnot in their things and stuff. I'm not an economist or a company economist. I don't really know how this stuff works, but I can pretend I'm a person who works, and therefore I know enough to spout random things about it on the internet, which may or may not be true. I believe that's how it works. Um, but in any case, I definitely feel like I know a fair bit about what I would like to do as a self-employed person, but it's not one thing. I don't want to do one thing. I don't even want to do two things. I want to do a menagerie of things, which are, not on their own or not of their own sort of things, um, but more likely to be um, a how to say this in a way that makes sense even to me. Hmm. Uh, I'm really trying very hard to think in logical and uh oh I got to oh that was fine, okay, whatever, in logical and ordered ways that make sense to other people, but doing so in ways that make sense to myself is hard enough at times. So especially when I'm trying to cook salmon, um very difficult, very difficult, but um we do try anyway. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what it comes down to with the whole creative process and things is there's randomness to it, and that randomness is something that I quite enjoy. And um, I hope that you guys enjoy it too. Of course, again, I will say in this video that if there's anything you want me to do, if there's stuff, a change maybe you want me to make to how this series works, a change you want me to make to how I do my SMPDX videos, my vlogs, uh, my unboxings. If there's something in particular you would like to see me unbox, of course I have no money right now, but I would love to eventually be able to take requests to some degree for unboxing videos. And generally it's just to be random crap that I get and find. Of course, if you ever want to send me anything to unbox, just talk to me and we can maybe work something out. I, of course, do not want to accept anything of particularly huge value, but um, because I would feel weird doing that, right? So don't send me like a gold plated. I mean, if it's Bionicle rated, I won't question it, right? If you want to send me some gold plated Kanohi or some just straight up gold Kanohi, please feel free. I will give you my details in spades, and if you do not follow through with your promises, I will hunt you down and murder you in your sleep, maybe. So don't we aren't we in a wonderful place where we live, in a day and age and in a place of the world where we can say things like that without actually getting in trouble because we really don't mean it, and we have the utmost respect for humanity, and people can know that even when we threaten physical, extreme bodily harm to people who wrong us, but they just, it's a societal thing that we just know that I don't mean it. Isn't that just wonderful? In any case, though, I honestly have been doing this video because I have a showing happening for my apartment tomorrow because I'm moving out for reasons that I stated in the last video. If you didn't watch it and don't know what's going on, feel free to ask in the comments or hit me up on Twitter or Discord or wherever you might have the ability to contact me. There's places and ways. I have a Facebook page and stuff. Facebook page that I don't really do anything with because Facebook sucks in so many ways. Well, that's what I wanted to talk about today was social media. Anyway, whatever. Whoopsie daisy. I did have a plan for today. I just forgot about it. That's how I roll. But yeah, I really don't remember what I was saying, but do that, thing, whatever. Oh, I'm moving out, and yeah, right. I decided to record this episode because I just finished moving a bunch of boxes, and I was in a ton of pain and just ready to lay down and die, uh, if I had to keep going. So I didn't keep going. I took a break, and now I have to get back to work on things, and I don't want to, but this episode's about 40, almost 45 minutes long. I figure that's plenty long, and I don't need to drag it out. I'm not going to wait until this whole sector is done like I did with the last one. Um, that's just ludicrous. Why would anybody ever do that to you? I mean, especially with horrible sound glitches, which we of course hope do not happen due to my backup plan, which may or may not have good audio at all. I don't really know. I usually get decent audio from my phone, but we will see if this works. And if the audio from the computer is totally messed up, this recording to my phone, and then I think I've got it automatically going to Google Drive. We'll find out about that later, if I need it. But if the audio from my headset is good, I'll probably honestly just use that, um, and call it Kushti because I'm far too lazy to go and pre-render the other audio uh, in the audio cleaning program that I have, because I'll probably need to do that because my computer's got loud computer fans that are doing computer fan related things, um, as they should do, and as I hope they would do forever, or at least until I get a new computer. At that point, they can stop doing computer fan related things, assuming I have transferred all of my necessary processes and items to my new computer, which would be the ideal way of doing it. But at any rate, once again, of course, uh, let me know if there's anything else you would find it interesting for me to talk about. If you have any questions about stuff, whether it's about my process, whether it's about the situation that I'm in with life that I mentioned in the previous episode, whether it's about these two dogs. If it's about the two dogs, I probably can't answer it. Um, but yeah, just let me know things, and if you want to interact with me in these videos, then by all means, go right ahead. I enjoy that aspect of community um, and whatnot that, in theory, at least, come with uh, YouTube videos. I enjoy that aspect of it, the interaction. I read every comment that I get at this point because I don't get enough to not, I guess. Uh, it sounds a little bit weird, but I really don't get enough that I can't read every comment. So long as it's a real person that's commenting, I'll respond in my to the best of my ability, rather. But I'm just rambling now, which is what this series is about. But of course, there are better things for you to be doing with your time, and there's better things for me to be doing with my time, or at least different things that we could be doing with our time. There are also worse things that one could be doing with one's time. So let's just be thankful that we're not doing those things and are simply spending time with a game called Minecraft, talking about semi-serious subjects in a not so serious setting with somebody who doesn't like being serious but really likes being serious. Yes, life is a wonderful contradictory thing. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you all later in the next episode, or perhaps, SMPDX, uh, other things, whatever. Wherever I see you next, that is where I will see you. And for now, I bid thee ta-ra.